And welcome back to just your Great Ner-D-Bate.
No, I'm introducing this one. It's my show.
No, welcome back to Just Your Great Ner-D-Bate.
It's not welcome back.
Shut the fuck up, or you're gonna lose.
So this,
I'm the Judge Mike. This is Chris. This is Chad.
Welcome back to Just Your Average Channel. This is our new show, The Great Ner-D-Bate.
all three of those are going to be in there just for you, by the way. As he said, this is a brand new show. You saw our last one on
Goku versus Superman.
Yeah, that clusterfuck.
Which I won.
Go watch it.
It wasn't biased.
Factual evidence.
No, this is actually our polished new show. We're teaming up with All for Gamers for this one, so we're both going to be having this on our channels. Then eventually we're going to have our channel wars where our best debaters will go up against each other.
Our master debaters. Anyhow.
And
Guess
they
I
will
won't
be
be crowned
crowned
for that one.
the master debater.
The masturbator.
Today we're going to be debating, should the DC Universe exist, or should it be a solo film thing going on with them, like the Joker movie and all that?
DC shared universe.
Mike hates DC movies, so...
No. I don't hate DC movies. I hate the fact that they haven't put out any good ones besides Wonder Woman and I assume Shazam, but I haven't seen it yet.
Have you seen Aquaman?
There was, I mean,
It's
alright, but
wasn't that
there's too many cheesy moments in it.
Yeah.
There's too much cheese for me.
It wasn't that good.
Way too much cheese. I love Jason Momoa though. I love what he did with the
Is
character.
it
but
picking up
this
his
is
voice?
too much cheese.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, you see the things
waveform?
over there. Yeah.
You guys don't realize how bad my eyes are. Don't let these fool you.
So I've got the side of the DCU should not exist whatsoever because it's just a clusterfuck of stupid nonsense. And then you've got
Yeah, I believe they can pull it off. They should have a shared universe.
and Mike gets to listen to us ramble about this nonsense for however long it goes on for.
Just because I refuse to talk about it.
Impartial.
Not really.
I'm gonna win.
I'm pretty fucking biased about it, but I'll try to be impartial.
So Mike's picking on me, so he'll probably pick Chris.
It has nothing to do with you. I'm talking about
I guess
bias about DC.
You want to go first?
I'll give you the start. No, you got this.
Chad, opening statement, please.
Alright, we need a timer on.
You're fine. Let's go.
Alright, so 29. So, Man of Steel wasn't a bad movie. You have admitted that. Batman was, I feel like a lot of the criticism is brought upon the directors. Aquaman was well received, even though we're not crazy about it. Shazam was very well received. Wonder Woman was very well received. And the only reason DC Shared Universe people don't like it is because of Zack Snyder. Because he directed every other movie in there. So I believe if DC brings out people that aren't just, like, they can't just have one guy being like, I'm going to make Superman, I'm going to make the Batman, I'm going to make the Justice League. No, they need to have, like, what Marvel does and have these great directors making all these movies feel fresh and not just one brooding, fucking, depressing movie for, like, 3 or 4 movies, then it's going to be good. Because you got to remember, look at Marvel. Look how many directors are going on there. Fucking, what's his name, who directed, James Gunn. He's directing Suicide Squad. You think he's going to make a bad movie? You think he's going to let DC be like, oh, you need to do all this, you need to do all that? No, he's going to look at them and be like, if you want me, you're going to let me make this movie I want to make. Honestly, in my opinion, who the fuck cares about Suicide Squad? Who cares about Birds of Prey? Make a good Superman movie. Make a good Batman movie. And get that off the ground. And then bring it forward into an expanded universe. Because think how cool it was in Avengers, where you finally see them all together. And they're fighting, and it's like... And even in, like... Try not to spoil Endgame. You're making this hard for me. Like, there's parts where they're like...
I told that before.
Chris is a total piece of shit, by the way. It's been 2 weeks, and he's bitching about spoilers.
No,
I'm
but
poor.
there's, like, parts where they're like, where is this person? And they'll be like, they're not here. It's up to you. Like, they can totally make it work why Wonder Woman isn't there just to, like, fly in and save the day. You don't even need, like, a big exposition scene. You just need to be like, they're not here. We need you. And I'll let you go on with your opening statement.
I'm only probably going to need about 30 seconds of this one. He kind of said it in his opening statement to begin with, and it's the biggest thing that I'll have to put against it. You have way too many directors directing way too many movies, and there's not a unifying source telling them, hey, this needs to lead into X, Y, and Z. Because after everything is said and done, you've got Wonder Woman, you've got Aquaman, you've got Superman. There's been no Batman movie since, The Dark Knight? Any of that trilogy that's ever come out that's been any semblance of cognitive. They've all been very, very poorly written, poorly received movies. And even the rated R version of Batman vs. Superman didn't do anything to save it. It was a shitty movie, and it had nothing that made comic book fans look at it and be like, that's a great movie that I want to go see number 2 of. That just made people disappointed. End of it.
Well, you're...
Can I just make an opening statement? I know I'm not part of the debate. But after listening to you both, I just really want to say, there's nothing wrong with having a shared universe, but they need to stop trying to fucking force the issue just because they were late to the game. They fucked up and came to the party late, and Marvel was already on their way building the thing. And instead of following the model that Marvel built, having the movies tie in through extra credit scenes or through stupid little things here and there, and they just tried to jump full force, feet first, you fucked up. But back to you guys.
I don't even have to make a second statement.
This is where you're kind of wrong.
I'm not.
I know.
Nope,
but I'm just saying, in general, that's why this debate is happening. Because of their approach. Not necessarily because of the directors. I don't care. Not necessarily because of the directors, but just because of the fact they're trying to force all these characters into these roles and have the story be coherent when you need to build up to it. We had 11 years to get to Thanos.
Can I continue talking?
Yes, now you can.
Reference to what you're saying?
You know what? Chad loses. Fuck
no.
him.
So when you say there's nobody directing this, you're actually wrong. Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee are kind of the pioneers of this now. The two people have been writing and drawing comics since like the early 90s, 80s. Are now trying to shepherd these movies. That's why they've been getting a little better here and there. And the thing you gotta remember is, the Flash movie they could fucking pull a mulligan and be like, we're gonna do Flashpoint. I know it's a bullshit thing. I know you're gonna be like, it's stupid. But they could do Flashpoint and they could bring Batman back, they could bring Superman back, and have it all be different than what it was. And that could revamp the DC universe, and they could look at the Marvel universe and be like, hey, maybe we shouldn't try to shit out a fucking Justice League movie after like a few movies. Maybe we should actually do what we should have done and bring these characters to life in their movies, make people care about them, so the death of Superman isn't just oh, he's dead. Oh, wait, post-credit scene, and you see the fucking dirt and the thing go. Oh, that totally takes away any emotional value to the scene.
Way to just say the same thing I said, bud. Good job.
Shut up. What I'm saying is, they don't need to stick with this. They like Shazam had the Batarang, and I haven't seen it, but all I know is they had the Batarang in it. Wonder Woman, they could keep Gal Gadot, and they could keep fucking what's his name. The kid doing the Flash is like, I'm gonna write the Flash now because obviously he likes him, Ezra Miller. He's gonna go in there and be like, I'm gonna either write this movie and get it all done, or it's gonna be given to somebody else. That's the kind of situation he's in.
That worked for Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but...
But you gotta remember that Marvel had Iron Man 2, it had some bad movies. But you gotta look at the grand scope of things. Zack Snyder isn't involved with this anymore, so we're gonna have more developed directors in here that have a better view on things, that aren't just like, Batman should kill, blah, 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 and be all like, you fans are pussies, blah, blah, blah. We're gonna have a guy that actually cares about the content, cares about what the characters mean, and go forward. You think Jim Lee and all them are going to let these people go and make these movies that are just going to be awful now? The last few movies that have come out have been greatly received. Wonder Woman, Shazam, Aquaman. The only ones that are bad have been the Zack Snyder movies. So you can't really argue about the DC Universe being that bad. And I know we didn't like Aquaman, but people liked it.
Green Lantern?
That I don't even think is included in the DCU.
Actually
timeline that's going on right now.
It should technically still be included.
But we have Green Lantern Corps coming out with Hal Jordan and fucking Jon Stewart. We have Birds of Prey for some reason, and they have the Batman movie coming out. They have the Joker movie that does look like it's gonna be a very good movie.
Does, but that's gonna be like an Elseworld story or something, isn't it?
We don't even know. You can't even say that until the movie comes out. They haven't even really specified on that.
Well, I mean, you kind of have to, because...
No, because Jared Leto's out.
It doesn't matter. You already had Jared Leto 2 fucking years ago.
That's why I'm hoping that they just reboot the universe and go on and have these directors that actually care about the content. Don't just look at, oh, Frank Miller had it this way where Batman shot like rubber bullets, but I'm going to make them real bullets. It's stupid. We're going to have real directors come in and have to make movies that they actually care about, and that's how it's going to go. And they have fucking Joss Whedon working on shit. They have Joss Whedon helping them, who help map out the DC universe. What makes you think they're not going to try to get like Taika Waititi and all them coming aboard? Or
Marvel
even
Universe?
Yeah, thank you, fact checker.
Just saying, bro.
I know, but it can work. Like, think of how epic it is having more than just one superhero. I'm down to have like solo stories. I don't like a lot of like how the Marvel movies are like, oh, but we're gonna have Iron Man in this. I want Spider-Man movies where it's just Spider-Man fighting like bad guys. But I love the fact that they have the little teasers here and there, like in Shazam, where everybody saw like the Batarang in his room and everything. That stuff just makes you feel cool because it's like, oh, I saw that in the last movie. That connects to this. That connects to this. And that's where all the theories come and everything. Where it's just a bunch of solo movies. It's like, yeah, but I really wanted to see Batman like fight with Superman, fight with Green Lantern, and all that. But if you have all these solo movies, what are they just gonna do? Have just the solo movies where there's no heroes fighting with other heroes. Because if you have heroes coming into random solo movies, it's just not gonna make sense. That's where you'll go. I'll stop talking. I'm rambling.
But you're kind of just letting Mike's point come back a few more fold, which is under the fact of they're trying to push the fast forward button and follow the Marvel formula, which has worked for them so well. The bigger problem behind it is also that you can have all these little teasers. Marvel's done it extremely well, but even if you go back farther, before you look at anything that actually was really Marvel, the first 2 Hulk movies, which were what started it, the first Hulk movie had nothing to do with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The second one is the one where they actually introduced him after he fought the Abomination, and they introduced Tony Stark.
That's what I meant to. It's been the Hulk, and there's been the Incredible Hulk.
There's the Hulk and the Incredible Hulk. Those are still 2 movies, and technically the second one is supposed to take place after the first one. There's no reboot in that story. That movie just keeps going.
They just kind of ignored the first one.
They ignored the first one.
They didn't do like, oh, this is how he became the Hulk. They just, he's the Hulk.
Yeah, but that at least
it's never implied that it's a
sequel
in any way, shape, or form, even in spirit.
But
the first one.
But I'm looking at it through like the normal Joe Schmo on the side of the road. He's like, oh, it's a new Hulk movie. I'm gonna go see the new Hulk movie. They don't give a fuck. All they see is Hulk, and they just want to go see Hulk. That's it. So when
that's why I went.
And when push comes to shove at the long term of it all, you've got way too many hands in this, and you say they're sort of leading the DC universe. Kevin Feige, end of story, is the point man for everything that's happened in the Marvel universe.
It wasn't for the first 2 phases.
Here's the problem. He may not have been there, but no matter what's happened so far, everything has fallen into place. Even with Iron Man 2, as shitty as it was, and they could have gone with the alcoholism story from the comics, they still managed to make it work. And it was not the greatest second movie, but it was a very, very good movie. Iron Man 3 is where they made their misstep. And I will 100% estimate that. And I'll say it till the very end. Iron Man 3 is their low point. Iron Man 2 was a very nice second movie. It wasn't Terminator 2, but it was a good second movie to follow it up.
It's more Terminator 3.
They butchered the fucking extremist story.
They did, but we're gonna...
There were cool things to that movie.
It
was a garbage movie.
It wasn't their best.
Iron Patriot.
So even following forward through that, you can easily, even if you've had 11 years to look at the Marvel formula and be like, hey, this is something that exists, let's copy it. you can still kind of fast forward it, but don't half-ass these movies like Superman, Man of Steel, like the Zero Batman movie that have come out since the entire fucking original Batman trilogy came out. Don't make a fucking Suicide Squad movie where all of your characters hold no point because they don't have any lore built up behind them. Like the Joker has no lore because none of the Batman movies have come out. Every character is expected, oh, you know comics, you know the Suicide Squad. That's why you need the Birds of Prey, because if you're setting up all of Batman, you're giving him the people who are a part of his lore, which is a very wide encompassing story, to get their feet up. So, oh, who's beating all of the Birds of Prey? Why are you in Arkham Asylum? Bat's got me. You have all of these mentions of Batman. Then you put out the Batman story. And even after that, the Superman story was a very depressing and let down film. I loved it to death. It was one of the best Superman movies that have come out since the original Superman with Christopher Reeve. Only the first one. The other ones weren't great. The first one was the best one. No, it wasn't. So fact of the matter is that Christopher Reeve, you could have easily started the entire Marvel
Threw a plastic
game with it.
And stop the guy. That was not good. Just leave. You're done.
But
You
that's-
lose.
But that's the issue. Like, you need to build up lore, and there's no lore for any of these characters. You have Wonder Woman, who's definitely should be the start of the DC cinematic universe. She starts the farthest back. She has everything that goes forward into it, and that's where you lay your groundwork.
She had all the potential to be their Captain America.
And then you had Superman, who's a squandered waste of potential. You have Batman, who was only there for the Batman versus Superman movie.
Batman alone should just give them the foothold. Just saying.
Right.
I mean, it's Batman. Sorry.
There's still 15 minutes. There's plenty of time.
Calm
Breathe.
down, guy.
The bigger issue is that you then, like, all three of us know the DC universe fairly well. Doomsday was not Doomsday in any capacity. And no, he wasn't Doomsday. End of story. He didn't have any build-up. He didn't have any originality. You could have easily done the Superman movie, and he could have, at the very end, after post-credits, what's all this power? What is all this? Make the second one, he meets Doomsday, beats him a first time. You don't even have to have fun with it. Just make Doomsday a character
Doomsday
and have
on
him
the
beat down.
show is more.
And then you easily lead into Batman versus Superman, because Batman's now wondering who the fuck is Superman and why is all of the goddamn city destroyed.
Right.
Then Batman versus
Let's get into
Superman.
our final thoughts. And just to rebuttal everything you just said, I already said that Zack Snyder fucked everything up. So you arguing against any of those movies kind of just repeats what I've said. I already said that Batman vs Superman, Man of Steel, and Justice League were all, you could just say, trash.
Man of Steel is a good movie.
I like it, but nobody else did.
I don't like seeing Kevin Costner die.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, that was a bullshit reason to die too. Superman wouldn't let him do that. But no,
That's what I should do every time Chad goes to make an argument.
But continue.
no, because like you need to realize that Marvel put out so many movies before, with a bunch of heroes before the MCU happened.
But they built up to it.
Yeah, but DC, what did they put out?
DC just tried to force it. I know I'm
Exactly.
supposed to be a fucking judge, but damn it,
You'll
dude.
be impartial.
I
DC
can't when
is
you're making bullshit
finally
points.
fired all the people that have like directed the movie into badness. They got rid of Zack Snyder. They got rid of the people running Warner Brothers and DC for the movies, and they have actual comic creators in there. And what they've been doing lately has kind of been succeeding. What is Shazam at? Like 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, 93%. Wonder Woman's at 94%.
You said lately. Wonder Woman was, what, 2 years ago now?
Yeah, but it wasn't directed by
That's
Zack
not
Snyder.
lately. And between that, you had Suicide Squad and Justice League, which weren't that great.
Yeah, but
You can't keep saying lately and bringing up Wonder Woman. I'm
Wonder
sorry.
Woman was directed by somebody that didn't have studio interference.
I understand that.
Suicide Squad was directly
That
influenced by DC.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be the judge.
So you got to remember that they're moving forward with their movies. They're slowed down. They haven't been releasing all their movies they're putting out. They got rid of the bad Joker. They got rid of, for some reason, Henry Cavill, which I love Henry Cavill. I wish he could have gotten another chance. that Matt Reeves
Cyborg.
Matt Reeves is making a new Batman, and you gotta realize that we want to see, even if it's a shared universe just for like a trilogy of movies, like 4 or 5 movies. It doesn't need to be like Marvel. It doesn't need to be like fucking 23 movies and the one phase 1 through 4. They could put like 5 or 6 movies out telling storylines from all the movies. 5 or 6 storylines telling more stories. It doesn't need to expand to that much. But having a shared universe expands on the fact that you have that one final movie where you can get all the heroes together and you can have everybody impacting each other's storylines instead of just having like Batman Begins being like he's the only fucking superhero out there. Fans, the reason Marvel did better than DC with all this isn't, yes, Batman should have made millions of dollars, billions of dollars, but fans weren't backed up from it because what did they have before that? Didn't have a Batman movie. They had fucking what? I don't remember if Suicide Squad came out before that, but they had that. They had fucking Man of Steel and everything, and people are like, why should I be excited for this? You haven't given me anything. DC has a chance now to be like, these are our storylines we're going to put out. We're going to do short burst storylines instead of doing like fucking, how long has it been? Like 10 years? Instead of doing like 10, 12 years of like movies, we're going to do like probably 4 years, 5 years. And just have great storylines. Then we could even keep the same actors and do different shared universe stories. Like, everything doesn't have to impact each other to make an end for things. We could just have all these stories. Like, imagine a fucking Injustice movie. Imagine, like, a big series of movies with Injustice. Imagine a big series with fucking Batman, the Night of Owls, or whatever it's called.
Court of Owls?
Court of Owls and all that stuff.
Way to be a complete piece of trash.
I know. I'm sorry. But imagine, like, fucking Infinite Crisis and all that being made into movies. Imagine if an actual Doomsday movie where you have, like, a few movies that actually grow on Superman and be like, we love this guy. Then all of a sudden, at the end, he dies, and you have that funeral.
Imagine a Doomsday origin pick.
And you have that funeral where you have all the superheroes holding the casket, bringing them to get buried. You have that big-ass memorial to Superman, where people actually like Superman, and not like in a snap, they're like, Batman's like, I'm best friends with Superman, even though we fought in the last movie and he died before we can actually create a friendship. There's actually movies to branch friendships on all that. And that's why I think the shared universe would be awesome. Because you get those emotional connections between all the characters. It's not just them in their own little world. And I'm all for having like random movies here and there, but you need to have the shared universe to be able to create connections between all the characters and make emotional impacts on what happens in the storylines. Like, imagine if you just had random storylines where all of a sudden, this doesn't happen in Endgame, don't worry, but all of a sudden, like, somebody, I won't even say a name, somebody flies in.
Batman kills Thanos.
Yeah, like, I could even put it in DC. Imagine if, like, it's a random storyline where Flash hasn't been in it, but then Flash is there and he dies, and it's like, alright, well, that guy died.
Spoiler alert, Flash dies.
You need to create, like, these connections with all these characters if you want to do giant superhero movies. But they need to do it right. They have the people working on it now. They have fucking Matt Reeves, who's made those Planet of the Apes trilogies that are fucking genius. I love those movies. You're awful. And they're going to get better directors. They have James Gunn making a Suicide Squad movie where I think it's wasted. I think he should have made like a Flash movie or something. But other than that, I think that we need the emotional connections between the characters to better bring out the storylines and all that. Because we can't have these big epic storylines without a shared universe.
Chris, your final statement.
I really don't have to make a final statement because Chad just made it with his final statement. You need all of these movies to create a shared universe. And I don't care if you have all of it coming up now. You had so many years and so much wasted potential with Christian Bale. You could have even continued directly off of the tails of that and been like, yeah, that kid that was part of, the Force who liked Batman so much, he became Batman Beyond. And just make him the new fucking Batman. When everything is said and done, even before the very final moment, you can look at me and tell me that Endgame solves all the problems of the Marvel shared universe. Before you can look at me and tell me that fucking the Superman movie was so awesome or so bad before you can tell me that Suicide Squad was so great or so bad. You don't have a unifying force looking at it and saying, this is something we're going to release into the wild. Because Iron Man had done it with the original Hulk movie. And it just built up from there. Yes, it wasn't shared. But when everything is said and done, condensed into its own little cinematic universe, you don't, as you said, have these emotional connections to any of these characters. Because none of them actually matter when you haven't taken the time to put it in and you're just trying to rip off a movie's theme.
So you're not fighting my thing, because I'm saying...
It's his final statement. Let him talk.
He's not fighting my thing, he's just...
He doesn't have to. It's his final statement. Shut the fuck up.
I'm just pushing home exactly what you said, because everything you said is what I needed to say. Zack Snyder's not involved. Congratulations. You still could have built on the shitty fucking movies from back then. You could have built on so much that was built up back in the old DC movies. And you are right. Wonder Woman could have been the Captain America. But you also had the Justice League, who literally shit in the mouth of everything that meant for DC. It's all a rushed and failed creation. And no matter how much work you want to put into it now, you have all of this bad blood from all of these other movies. And none of it actually matters, no matter what. So when push comes to shove, the DC Universe, it'll come out in 15 years from now. And it'll be great, and I'll love it then. But as far as I'm concerned right now, it's a joke. And it'll always be a joke. Because there's nothing that has made me care about Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, The Flash, Green Arrow, and Green Lantern. And there never will be until all of it comes out. But that's because the first movie was shitty. So no matter what happens...
You should have said that's because there's two. Or more than one.
Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool now. Let's just leave it at
It
that.
doesn't matter, there's still more than one Green Lantern.
So when push comes to shove, you can build all of this up. But there's nothing there right now. And you said it all for me, Chad. They've squandered potential.
Sounds like you're taking my argument to what the face is. But hopefully... Basically, you're saying that just because of past movies, it's not going to be able to reflect on future movies. Which you can't keep saying, oh, they fucked up in the past. Look at all the fucking other Marvel movies that came out. And then they made the MCU.
Like what, though?
Huh?
Like the one Hulk movie?
They made the Hulk, they made Blade, they made all the fucking...
So hold on, Blade isn't part of the Marvel Universe.
Blade isn't part of the MCU. It's a Marvel movie, but it's not part of the MCU. So don't bring it up as part of your
Blade's
argument.
Not part of
so you are disqualified off the bat.
No, because you're arguing with the fact that, what I'm saying is, DC can kind of have a reboot. You're arguing the fact that they can't have a reboot right now.
They can't. Why? Because they built the character. And you can't look at them and be like, yeah, we're rebooting the universe. When you don't have the character to do it. You don't have the Flash.
They were late to begin with. If they reboot now, they're fucked. That's just facts.
I don't think so.
They screwed themselves starting their movies when they did. They should have done the Justice League movie way back before Marvel even started building with Iron Man, when they were supposed to. Justice League Unlimited or whatever the fuck it was that got canned. They should have released that before Iron Man ever came out, and then they wouldn't be in this fucking boat. But they sat on it after the third Batman movie, The Dark Knight Rises, and they fucked themselves because they led into Man of Steel after that, and it took them forever to build what they had. But
can you make a judgment on the actual arguments and not your personal thoughts?
Hey, I mean, I can try. No. I'm going to give this to Chris because you contradicted yourself throughout the entire argument. You kept saying they need to build movies that carry the story around the character and they don't have to do it like the MCU. That's how the MCU was fucking built. That's why it took 22 fucking movies to get to where we fucking were. We had Iron Man, which told the story of Tony Stark and how he became Iron Man. And then we had a little extra credit scene that teased at something, which was your point. So don't even give me bullshit. And then we had Incredible Hulk, and it told the story of Bruce Banner dealing with being the Incredible Hulk and trying to get away from General Ross, and then fucking Abomination, and then guess what? We had an extra credit scene which teased to something bigger. And then we had this movie, and then we had Captain America, and then we had this, and it built up to the shared universe. No, be quiet. I'm not done giving my judgment. I think the DC universe should have a shared universe. And that's why it sucks that your argument was so garbage. You contradicted everything about your argument. You said they don't need to do these stories and they need to focus on the character, but you can't jump into a shared universe, Chad. You can't have a shared universe without focusing on the character.
I said that.
You also said that they can't waste their time doing movies building up to something. You can't do both at the same time. You can't do both at the same time. You either build on the character and build towards something, focus on the character and build towards something solid, or you don't bother at all and you jump in feet first. And they jumped in feet first and they fucked it up. That's why we're in the position we're in, because they got a late start and they tried to jump in. And they're like, hey, we're going to just bang out a Man of Steel, a Wonder Woman, and a Batman vs. Superman, and then we're going to do Justice League with the Flash, Cyborg, fuck it. We're just going to do it, man. No. Suicide Squad aside, you could have even made Suicide Squad work if you just had a better fucking story and a better fucking, better fucking villain. It was way too convoluted. You don't even have to be a fan of the comics to enjoy Suicide Squad. The characters were all there except for Jared Leto. Like, I had nothing, no issue with the team itself.
At least we can agree Jared Leto was shit in that movie.
I had no issue with the team itself. My issue was with the movie and the story.
But
it was garbage. Suicide Squad in and of itself should have been a good movie.
But it's not just up to Mike. It's not just up to Chad. It's not just up to me. It's up to you guys as well.
This is true.
So let us know in the comments what your personal opinion is. I would love to be able to side with Chad and say it's 100% positive, just like I wish Chad would be able to side with me and say it's not going to happen.
I wanted to side with Chad. That's what made it so sad.
But you guys give us the final opinion. Let us know in the comments. Maybe we'll even post it to Instagram or have a second debate about it. But in the meantime, I'm Chris.
I'm Mike.
Chad, bitter, salty.
Join us next time. Bye.
I'm a sucky judge. That worked.